Hey, how you doing, Joseph from Facebook? How you doing? Still not there yet. No, I'll be able to get into in a second. Hey, how you doing, V? I guess 23V. Joe, how you guys doing from Twitter? I'm doing the weekly news update. You guys know what I'm going to be doing. I'm waiting to see my live show here, and I'm not seeing it going on. Let's see where it is. I don't know where I put it. Right here, no. It should be in the live. External. Hey guys, you're all here. It seems like you're here from YouTube and everywhere. It's great. I mean, that is great. It's funny because what am I doing here? I'm not starting it for a second, guys. Oh, I got it. Okay, looks like I can get going. All right, everybody. I've been asked to do this show. People always say they want to know my take on the news. This show is a new show. It's going off every Friday night. Friday night, anywhere from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Now, it's going to be a show. It's not going to be a long show. It's going to be hitting of the week prior to Friday. So it's going to be from July 4th this week until July 11th. The weekly news update for you, my audience, and the people who like what I do. And this is going to be different. This is going to be hard-hitting. It's going to be quick because I'm not going to dwell on too many topics. Knowing me, I probably will. And I know that, guys. So please keep the chats coming. Keep everything coming. I will glance at chats. If there's something that sticks out at me really quick, I'll check it out. If not, we're going to move on. Okay? What's the big thing? Domestically in the United States this week, July 4th week, Donald Trump signed the big, beautiful bill, which, again, when I do my research on the bill, hey, listen, it's actually good. Here's a couple of things it's good for. It was signed July 4th, very important. Massive tax cut. Here's a winner, I think is a winner. People who in this audience, if you're a waiter or a waitress or somewhere there, your tips aren't getting taxed up to $25,000. That's a huge advantage. Now, people say, well, but they cut Medicaid or they cut food stamps. If you work in a restaurant, I'm sure you're eating all right. I don't think you're going to have a big issue there. There's a lot of pushback on this bill as well, and that's more for the program. But even big money, you know, the defense got money. They're not bitching. They got a $20 billion increase from last year, 100. Defense and ICE funding, just defense and ICE funding, went up by 150 and 170 billion dollars. Explain a billion, you know what it is, people. It's so crazy. Here's who's freaking out too. Who got funding got cut to states and those programs, the SNAP program and all those things. You know who's pissed? New York. New York is pissed because they're going to have a $750 million budget, a budget hole. Chicago mayor said, "Oh, we don't need the feds." Well, now you need the feds, buddy. So, and that's my take on the Donald Trump weekly. And what did it do for the market? The Dow dropped a very little, 1%, about 250 points, 280 points, something like that. And S&P dropped a 0.3, about 20 points, 25 points. And the NASDAQ dropped 2 points, 0.2 points. Okay, what in the bill really hurt people? I'll tell you who's pissed at us. Our neighbor, Canada. Yep, Canada's really pissed at the United States. Trump announced a 35% tariff. That was just Friday. And that's pretty crazy. And that's starting in August, which is next month. Who's going to get hit? Automotive. Automotive, real materials. And let me tell you what I think of all this shit. Who gets hurt? When a company gets a tariff, what happens? What happens is you and I get hurt. Where do you think the price is going? Let me give you a little hint. I was putting copper in my house. Copper. I have a 50 amp. You guys know I have an RV going into my breaker box. Have to replace 75 feet. The wire is costing me about $400. Just the wire. I'm relating this to us, guys. This is why I want this show. This is going to be related to us. And I know it's going to get crazier and crazier. And that's just the way it is. And I love that it's going to get crazier. We can't do anything about it. That's the way it should be, in my mind anyway, like I say. So that happened. Snap programs. So what are you going to do with that? I'll tell you what I'm going to do with it. I'm not going to worry about the programs. New York has to deal with themselves. Canada has to deal with themselves. Let's go back to a little bit of Europe. This is sad, guys. Europe, the UK is going through a heat wave, a really big heat wave. 2,300 deaths were linked to the heat wave so far. That's crazy. 2,300 deaths is a lot. And when I say Europe killers, Europe, that's all of the, UK, Portugal, all that kind of stuff. So think of it this way. If you're in the UK and you're hot, you say, man, Larry, you got that. Listen, now we get on to global warming. Do I believe in global warming? Numbers don't lie. We all know that, right? But do I think what we're doing here with whatever it is really causing this? Does the human population have a actual effect on it, weather and climate? Absolutely. But do you think me putting my can in my recycle bin is going to work? I know I'm getting canceled for that. I know it. I have a lot of people out there right now who are like, oh my God, Larry, you don't believe in global warming. It's not about believing in anything, people. It's about what's right. Let me give you why I'm going to say that. China and India are the biggest two polluters and recycling. And they got 1.4 billion people each. That's 2.8 billion people. The United States has got 70 million people. Do you think me putting now, I get it. Putting my trash in that can, people are going to say, Larry, you should do it. It's doing your act. If everybody did it. Well, if everybody gave Larry Lawton $1, Larry Lawton would have $800 billion. Or 8 billion people, I'd have $8 billion. It's not going to happen, guys. And we have to get real. I think you, the young people out here in this audience, are going to fix this problem. And you know what? We're going to find out later down the line that what they're telling us not to do, we should have did. It's happened my whole life. When I was a young person, they used to tell you, oh my God, drink milk, do your stuff, sugar this, the food pyramid was upside down. Let me tell you, things change. And I'll tell you why. They used to say, hey, drinking coffee is no good for you. Actually good for you. Drinking alcohol is no good for you. In moderation, good for you. So just think about that. Don't think of what today is. Think about what tomorrow is going to be. And that's how I try to do this. And I'll tell you, I won't be here 50 years from now. But you will. And you guys are going to fix that problem. So there is a problem, but I think you guys can fix it. I really do. There was a BRICS summit which targets U.S. trade dominance. What that means is BRICS is an organization that has all the southern countries, Brazil, South Africa, India, certain agencies that are not in our, but they're all under the WTO, which is the World Trade Organization. So they have a summit every year, and this was in Rio. And what comes up with that? Stuff for the trade, but you know what it means? Nothing is binding. So the President of the United States can make a tariff 35%. That's not binding. You have a trade. Now, should you do agreements? People break agreements every day. I mean, people break contracts. What do? You bring them to the World Court. What are you going to do at the World Court? You're wrong. Now what? Happens every day. You know, there's a lot of bullshit going out there, and it's all noise. Remember that. A lot of noise, guys, and that's sad. Okay, let me do a few other things. Did you guys know that there was an asteroid that almost hit the United States in the last day? July 11th, actually today. 1,200 foot, 366 meters, 1,200 foot asteroid passed by Earth. We're all right, but a close one. That's what they're telling the news. What do you guys think of that? I'll tell you what. Elon Musk and others push for space defense funds. I don't know about space defense funds, but how about survivability funds? Maybe that should be a world order, because if you hit the world, asteroid that size hits anywhere in the world, will probably, it's going to destroy the world, our world, Earth, not the world. I don't know. Would you consider that? Think about what I just said. That's a pretty crazy shit. Defense funds. Do we really need more defense funds? The United States don't, that's for sure. We spend enough, although it's in the budget, they went up. But I'll tell you what, we do have a kick-ass military. All right, get this, Earth's spin, if you believe and you're not a flat earther, Earth's spin, the rotation of the Earth, has actually shortened. It actually shortened. It was the shortest day of the year, okay? July 9th was the shortest day of the year, and always in the middle of July somewhere they're going to be the shortest, and then the longest is 6 months of that, and that's December. So July, like 1.46 milliseconds shorter than normal. Is that crazy? I mean, what makes something go fast and slow? How do we even know this? I look at these people who make this stuff, and I'll go on and on about that one day. But in my take, I don't know what it means. And, it's crazy for me. Sports news. I love the sports news. I love this one, too. The NCAA made a settlement with the players, the athletes, the youth, the kids who are signing these Division I contracts. They got a $20 million cap, which is okay, meaning the players now and the team. So they had to have a cap of how much they could play, so they're not just to pay every player and weight the league. That's what they do with salary caps in the NBA or Major League Baseball or whatever it is. So what does it mean? Football and men's basketball in particular, and other sports included, will retroactively payments to these players. They have to pay these players. That's great. I love when I heard it. I considered it a big game changer when, oh, man, I'm so fucked up. Sorry about that. Only I could do something stupid like that during a live show. And this is live, so guess what? We're not changing things. And that's it. But, athletes needed to be compensated. I didn't like to see these schools make all this kind of money when the athletes weren't making any money. They were taking athletes that were great athletes, and they're in great schools like Notre Dame or whatever school you consider good, whether it's an Ivy League or a sports school or Florida State, one of these schools. And they're using them for recruitment to get people in there, and they can't pay these athletes. These athletes are asked to get up at 6 in the morning, be in the best shape of their life, do this, go to school, get their grades right, and take a job. I think this is 2025. I'm so glad that the NCAA got smacked, and I'm so glad a federal judge did it, because that means it's done. It's approved. It is done. Game changer. Okay. I have to, if I don't do anything, I have to do two things. First of all, this is very big news, the P. Diddy case, and that's only because it had an update. They wanted to get a shorter date for sentencing, and I agree with it. They wanted it in September, like September 20th, but now they're going to stick with October 3rd. October 3rd happens to be yours truly birthday. I don't know what we're going to do, but we might have some kind of function. October 3rd, in Manhattan, P. Diddy will be sentenced. And here's what pisses me off in this case, and you all know this. You know, listen to me. I am not a person sitting here right now, guys, saying to you, I know the law better than anyone. I happen to be right, and some other people happen to be right, and that's it, but not many. He's getting sentenced just to two charges. It's called the Mann Act, and what it really means is it's taking women across state lines for the use of prostitution. It's called being a John. If anybody out there knows what being a John is, that's the guy who does it. Now, explain to me how many CEOs, sports athletes, and famous people you think maybe play for the New York Knicks, and they go to New Jersey, to Atlantic City with a call girl, prostitute, whatever you want to call her, that now convicted of what Diddy's convicted. Even better, how many CEOs and corporations throw a party somewhere and bring in women? That's a common thing, people. Should these CEOs all go to jail? I think it's a way the government really got the tapes. And I'm going to say this on the news, and this is going to be the end of the subject until their sentencing, his sentencing. I totally believe this, and this is the real deal weekly news update with Larry Lawton. Here's exactly what I believe. The federal government heard through a lawsuit filed by one of P. Diddy's producers or editors, somebody, that P. Diddy had wild sex parties, and there were very powerful people at these sex parties. And because of the powerful people at these sex parties, they have sex tapes of politicians and athletes and business leaders doing illegal things with children. This is what the lawsuit stated by this one guy. Feds heard about this. What did they do? The federal government didn't care about P. Diddy. The people in charge, and whoever you believe the people in charge are, said, wait a minute, we need these tapes. What do? They do two simultaneous raids. Two simultaneous raids. One in California and one in Miami at 6 a.m. in the morning with armored vehicles and teams of people. For what? For what was the initial charge? Racketeer, which it wasn't even. They don't do this for the mob. They don't do this for rappers now being charged with the RICO, which is wrong. This is so out of whack, people. They got through this, and what do they highlight on the news the next day? And we're here to announce we get arrested, or we confiscated 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Who cares? How do you know he didn't have a slide coming from the roof down into a pool with baby oil? That's his thing. It really was wrong the way that all happened, and if you're not believing of that, then you're not understanding really what's going on. The Jeffrey Epstein list has been a big thing that I have to end with. And what is it? Jeffrey Epstein, there's nothing to it. Well, for all these years, there was something to it. If there is something to it, and they're just not going to show you the list, period. Just like they're not going to show you the P. Diddy tapes. And I don't think they should. It's not my privy. Who am I? I know I'm a people, we people, all that. I get it. You want that too? You know, when someone can't eat, you go out there now and go buy the food. Says, we the people help that person. I get it. That's why we have governments, guy. I'm not going to get into that kind of deep discussion. But P. Diddy was found not guilty on all the sex charges and the RICO Act, and he was never charged or even mentioned anything to do with kids. I'm not a P. Diddy fan. I don't even know P. Diddy. I don't listen to his music. He's a mogul. He's a smart guy. He's built people. He employs a lot of people. A lot. And please, nobody here on this news show tell me, oh, didn't you see the tape of him in the hotel? That wasn't even done. That was settled for $20 million. Shouldn't even have been mentioned because we don't know a person's personal life. Do I believe in hitting women? Absolutely not. Do I believe in taking advantage of anybody weaker than another person? Absolutely not. But let's stop judging people when we don't know all the facts. Because how do you know that that woman didn't rob $1 million and had it in a bag and was leaving that hotel? I didn't say it happened, did I? That's what the mainstream media does. You don't know what happened. That's why there's a court of law. Remember that. All right, guys, this is the Larry's Weekly News Update, the real deal. It's going to get better. We're going to really fine-tune this. Stay tuned. It's not going away. Every Friday.